Hey guys, this is Mr. Ninja Boy, and if you are a brand new user of the Unity 3D software, this is the best tutorial for you. I'm going to teach you all the essentials needed before you start making your own game, and this is basically for beginners and for people that are coming back to the software that haven't used it in a while. So I'm going to teach you all the essentials from the interface to importing your own models and all the essentials needed before you start your own game. So let's get started. So before we get started, I just want to let you guys know I made a brand new forum called Unity Ninja. Basically what this is it's a forum dedicated to answer questions if you guys need help, and it's a general community forum where you can post your progress in your game, your show in the project showcase. You can this is where I answer questions for tutorials, and also the most important part, the resources. So I'm going to be including free resources on this on this forum, and yeah, so it's also a community forum, so other people post their own resources, and it's a really good forum. I recommend you check it out. You can get a lot out of it. So let's get started with a tutorial. So when you first start up Unity, you're gonna see something called Angry Bots, and this is basically a game that shows the capabilities of Unity 3D, and it's made by Unity themselves, but we're gonna skip this and create our own project, and this is the first step of creating your own game. So we're gonna go to File, New Project. So you can name it whatever you want. And alright, so first of all, if you want a game, we have to create a scene, because without a scene we don't really have a game. So let's go to File, New Scene, or yeah, Save Scene As. And then when you press Save Scene As, just save it as whatever you want, um, and save it under your assets folder. So press save, and there you go. So now we have a scene, and I'm going to teach you guys the interface, and this is very important that you guys fluently know the interface of Unity 3D before you create your game. First off, there's a lot of tabs in Unity, and the first one is Hierarchy, and this is basically what you have in game. And next to that, we have the Scene tab and the Game tab, and these are very different. The Scene tab is basically the in-game editor. You can edit your map, you can move objects around in the game. This is basically the editor of the game itself. And the Game tab is basically what you see when you're playing the game. It's a perspective of the game, and this is the perspective of wherever you are. You're basically God. You're the God of the game. Yeah, these are very important. You know the difference between them, and yeah. So now for the interface itself, for scrolling, and you can scroll in and out. Use your scroll. You just scroll in and out. You know how to scroll in. Use your mouse. Next is to pan around. You click on this hand and you can just pan around. And if you want to move it in 360 degrees, you right click on your mouse, and you can combine this with the pan around, and you can easily get around objects. And yeah. So next thing is the selection tool. You can press the selection tool and then click. And by the way, make sure you're on the scene if you want to do all this. So press the selection tool and then click on any object you want in your game. All we have is the cube for now, but you can move it around up and down, all the axes, X, Y, and Z. And yeah, so next tool is the rotation tool, and you can rotate any object. Make sure you select it first. If it's like this, then you just select the object itself you want to rotate, and yeah, you can just rotate it however you want. And the next and the last tool is the scale tool, and this you can scale the object in the X, Y, Z, all the axes, and yeah. So this is basically all you need to know for interface in Unity 3D. So now I'm going to show you guys how to import Unity packages, and these are basically assets for your game to make it better, to enhance your game, and for example add a first-person controller. Without this, you don't really have a game. So we're going to go to Assets, Import Package, Character Controller. So this is the first package we're going to import, and then we're going to click Import when this window pops up, and just wait till it imports. You're going to notice a folder that pops up. It's called Standard Assets. You can open that, and as you can see, this is the character controller that we imported. So we're going to import another one called Terrain Assets, and then you click on that and it imports it. So once you're done importing all three, the skyboxes, the terrain assets, and the character controller, we're going to go back to the assets folder. We're going to double click the scene that we made and press don't save. So this is basically the saved scene now. So we're going to go to, now we can finally create a terrain. So I'm going to teach you guys how to make the surrounding and the terrain of the player. So we're going to go to game object, create other terrain. So once we've done that, as you can see here, we've got a simple terrain, and it's flat, but we can add mountains and make it mountainous and make it more realistic. So again, we're going to go to selection tool like I taught you in the interface, click on it, and as you can see here to the right in the inspector tab, there's all these tools that you can edit the terrain with. But first of all, we're going to click on this one, which is the first one, which is the raising and lowering of the terrain. So there's a lot of brushes that you can use, but I'm going to use this one for now and increase the brush size and just make mountains. It's actually really simple. Making terrains is pretty fun in Unity, and it's very, very simple. No modeling needed, nothing like that. So once we're done with the terrain, we want to add a texture to it to make it more realistic. So let's click on it and go to this brush tool and press edit texture, add texture. So once this window pops up, press select and find a texture that you want. And yeah, there's a texture, and that came in the package that we imported. So press add, and there you go. So it automatically adds it to the terrain itself. So now we're going to add a directional light to the game, because as you can see, the game is a little dark. So we're going to go to game object, create other, directional light. So there it is, press on that, and yeah, there you go. So as you can see, the game is a little brighter, and you can increase the intensity of it, and yeah, I think that's good for now. Alright, so now let's add a skybox, because as you can see here, we don't have a skybox right now, and it's gray. The sky's gray, so that's not really realistic. So let's go to edit, render settings, and skybox material should be right here. So once you see skybox material, I'll go to the right and click on that little circle with the dot in the middle, and find a skybox. So we want this one, and there you go. So it's much more realistic right now. Alright, so now let's add a player into the game. This is really exciting. This is actually when we bring our game to life, and it actually has, you can actually play the game itself. So let's go to this assets, and then standard assets, and then character controller. So you can also go to the search bar and search up first person controller. And yeah, so this is basically what we imported when we went to game object or assets import package. And yeah, so we're gonna drag this into the scene, and yeah, so once you got it there, you can zoom in by pressing F, and we got a really close up of the player. So let's put the player above the ground. Make sure, this is very important, make sure the player is always above the ground, or else he's gonna sink through the map. So once we've got that, we can actually click on the game, and as you can see, this is the game perspective. So if you have a main camera here, you can delete that because we're not going to be using that, and because we already have a main camera for the player itself. So if you want to go into play mode and actually test the game at any time, you can press this play button up here. So as you can see, this is play mode, and yeah, there we go. So this is our very simple game. If you press W, the player goes forward. This is the simple movements of the player. Right, so this is the final thing I'm going to show you guys in this tutorial, and this is importing your own stuff. This can be a 3D model, a script, a texture, etc. But yeah, I'm going to show you how to do it. So you go to Assets, Import New Asset, and when it goes to this, you have to locate your file. So I have it on my desktop here. So open the file that you want, and I believe for 3D models, Unity supports OBJ and FBX files. I'm not sure if it supports any other. So we're going to click import, and it's going to import it just like it imports any other file. So we have our 3D model file here, and now I'm going to import the texture for the file. So I'm going to go to Assets, Import New Asset, and locate the file that I want. So I finished importing all my model and my texture. So now if you want to add the model to the scene, you just literally drag it onto the scene. It's as simple as that. So now I'm going to rescale it like I showed you in the interface tutorial. So yeah, now that I scaled it, I am going to bring it down to the ground so it actually touches the ground, and this is all from the interface stuff that I showed you guys. So now I'm going to add a texture itself to the house. So once it's selected, you can select it again or double click it, and it comes with this, you can assign textures for it. So you literally just have to drag the textures onto you know, the model itself. So it's pretty simple. That's definitely not the texture for it. It's probably this one. Yeah, there we go. So for now, I'm just not gonna reassign every single texture. I'm just showing you guys how to do it. And if you want, for example, to give it a specular kind of a shiny look to it, you can click it again and go to the shader, and go to, there's a lot of settings you can do, but I'm gonna do specular for now. So yeah, it gives it kind of like a shiny effect. So if we press play mode, we can see our 3D model that we've just added. Alright, so that is pretty much it for the basics tutorial. And if you guys want to learn how to make a first-person shooter game in Unity, check out my series I made. I made 6 videos on it, how to make an FPS game in Unity. It's a really good series. I worked hard on it. Just I provide you guys with free scripts and free everything. Just check it out. It's really good to get you guys started in making an FPS game if you'd like to make one. And definitely check out my forum if you guys want free resources, contact new developers. You know, you can seek team members. It's a really good forum. I'm trying to grow it and expand my forum itself. And yeah, so thanks for watching this video. See you guys next time.